Hello, today I want to discuss how we can execute a Python module. And before we do that, let's understand how we execute a Python script. So let me quickly jump into my VS Code. And as you can see, it's completely blank. We don't have any files or folder over here. So let's create a file. And to execute this file, we can simply write python 3 sample.py, and it's working good. Now, let's create a folder, which will be our sample module. But before we do that, let's understand what's the difference between a folder and a module. Well, every module in itself is a folder. But for an interpreter to understand a folder as a module, it needs to have a very special file inside that. So let's start sample underscore module. This is our folder. And right now it's still a folder, but to turn it into a module or a package, all we can do is we can create a new file inside it called init.py, and we don't have to add anything to it. We can leave it like this. We'll come back to that some other day, some other video. Right now that's not our focus. Our focus is to understand how module works. So right now this is our module. Well, if you look at our module, it's sort of empty. So let's add another file. Let's call it math.py. We quickly define a function at ab return a plus b. Okay, this looks good. And if I want to use this specific function inside our main script, which is sample.py, we can import that. So from sample underscore module dot math import add. Okay. And at the bottom it's showing for interpreter, so let me quickly select an interpreter. It really doesn't matter. Okay. The reason we need to select an interpreter so that it will predict whatever we want to try. So if I remove this and if I types from sample module, you can see it's showing me a prediction. So sample module or autocomplete. Okay, math import add. Okay. So for that reason only I selected the interpreter. I'm not using VS Code internal terminal instance to execute it. We are doing it in a separate terminal instance. Anyway, once we have added that, we can simply print the value. So 2.3. Okay. Now, if you look at this function, it returns the sum of a and b, and we are simply printing that. If I want, I can go here, I can execute, and it's printing the result, which is all good. But still, we are not executing the module. So let me show you what I mean by execution of a module. If I go here and if I type sample this, okay, sample module with a Python interpreter, that is Python 3 sample module. If I do this, it will throw me an error. It says it can't find underscore underscore main module in the specific path. Okay, so what should we do? Well, we need to add another special file to our module. To do that, we can just right click new file or whichever you want and main underscore and py. Now let me quickly add something here. We are inside module. Now if I do the same thing, that is Python 3 sample module, it will print that. So what the interpreter does is whenever we try to execute a module, it will first ensure that there is a init.py file so that it will think that it is a module, and next thing it will look for is this main.py file. Okay, whatever we put inside this folder, it will execute that whenever we try to trigger a module. Okay, let me show you a real world example. Okay, so this is a very popular Python project called Sherlock. This is basically to list out all the website where certain username has been used. Okay, we use this in OSINT, open source intelligence. Anyway, this is a Python project and that's what we want to look into it. If you look at all the files over here, there is only one .py file. There is one Python script. If I open this, you see that it only has one import, which is import JSON. There are no other imports. Okay, all other code is inside the Sherlock folder. So whenever we install this specific project in our system, it basically triggers this Sherlock folder. So if I open this, you can see we have init and we have the main, both of the files. Let me quickly open up this one. And in this, if you look, it's a very simple script, nothing very fancy over here. What they are doing is they are checking for specific version. If version is less than 3.6, it will throw a warning saying that it's not supported. Please use Python version more than 3.6. Okay, and once, if it is true or false, whatever is done, okay, it will go for this import Sherlock and Sherlock.main. Okay, where it is, this is the Sherlock file. Okay, it's importing this one and Sherlock.main. If I come here and look for main, this is the main function that it will trigger. So whenever we trigger this Sherlock module, it will go to this main.py file. It will check for the versions of Python. Once everything is all good, it will simply import this Sherlock.py file and trigger this main function. And this is how this whole project is working. This is the beauty of this. So this way we can keep the whole thing separate. The execution part of this project is inside this Sherlock folder. If you need to execute anything, you can copy this Sherlock folder to your system. You can simply trigger it. Presuming you have all the dependency, all the packages, external packages are installed. Okay. All other folders and files, those are the part of the project, but those are not necessary for the execution of it. For instance, we have this Docker ignore or Docker files. We have some documentations like README or code of conduct or contribution instructions. Here we have Docker compose and it's requirement.txt. So it basically has a list of all the packages you need to have installed in your system before we execute the Sherlock script, basically Sherlock project, before we execute the module. So this is it. This is how we try to ensure that our whole project is modular and we can keep everything inside the Sherlock folder and make this folder a module and make it executable. So this is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me your comments, any questions, please let me know. Bye bye.